بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وأصلي وأسلم على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين نبينا محمد عليه وعلى آله وصحبه أفضل الصلاة وأزكى التسليم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي آمين. اللهم اجعل الحق على قلوبنا وألسنتنا وارزقنا الإخلاص في كل قول وعمل. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, continuing in Surah An-Nisa, tells us in verse 138, بَشِّرِ الْمُنَافِقِينَ بِأَنَّ لَهُمْ عَذَابًا أَلِيمًا. I know Sheikh Abdul Rafa touched on this yesterday, but it's kind of related to the meanings or to the verses that we're going to be covering today. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, بَشِّرِ الْمُنَافِقِينَ بِأَنَّ لَهُمْ عَذَابًا أَلِيمًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to us about the munafiqeen, the hypocrites, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses this term bashir. Bishara in the Arabic language is used mainly for glad tidings. Glad tidings. So when you give someone glad tidings, you give him bishara. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in a mocking way for the munafiqeen, He starts by saying, بَشِّرِ الْمُنَافِقِينَ بِأَنَّ لَهُمْ عَذَابًا أَلِيمًا. So give the glad tidings to the hypocrites. And this has a stronger impact on someone when you start with this, like, I have glad tidings for you, I have good news for you, right? And then you turn to bad news that has a more impact on it. There's not only mocking them, but also has the strong impact on them. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, بَشِّرِ الْمُنَافِقِينَ بِأَنَّ لَهُمْ عَذَابًا أَلِيمًا. Give them the glad tidings that they have a painful punishment. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks to us about who are these munafiqeen, or what are some of the attributes or the signs of these munafiqeen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in 139, الَّذِينَ يَتَّخِذُونَ الْكَافِرِينَ أَوْلِيَاءَ مِن دُونِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ أَيَبْتَغُونَ عِندَهُمُ الْعِزَّةَ فَإِنَّ الْعِزَّةَ لِلَّهِ جَمِيعًا. Says those who take the disbelievers as allies or protectors instead of the believers. Do they seek honor and power through the company, for that company? Surely all honor and power belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, talking about the munafiqeen, says what? The sign of them, or one of the attributes is what? Is that they take al-kafirin, take the disbelievers, as awliya. The word awliya can be, again, here it says, as friends, as protectors, as someone that you're seeking help and support from, over the mu'mineen. Over the mu'mineen. Keep in mind that the munafiqeen are outwardly professing Islam, saying we're Muslims. Yet in their hearts, they are what? They are disbelievers. So they're going and seeking, understanding this, they are seeking, he said, okay, in their minds, at that time, they believe that Rasulullah ﷺ and the people and the companions are not going to be successful in this world, or they're not going to have victory or anything as such. Therefore, they are looking for someone else to what? For protection. They're looking for someone else for this might and power. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, this is their sign. And why are they seeking that? Why are they doing that? أَيَبْتَغُونَ عِنْدَهُمُ الْعِزَّةِ. Are they seeking this honor from them? Are they seeking this help, power or might? The word izzah, actually, they say, the Mufassirin, Imam Razi, rahimahullah, says this is coming from the word azaz, the ard al-azaz. Al-ard al-azaz is like the land, the ground that is strong, that is powerful, that is harsh. Like, you have hard ground. So they say this is the word azaz, the ground that is azaz. It's taken to mean might and power. So when you say someone aziz, that means someone has might and they have power. They're not easily beaten, basically, or so you cannot have victory over them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَيَبْتَغُونَ عِنْدَهُمُ الْعِزَّةِ. Says, are they seeking this honor, this might, this power from these kafirin, from these disbelievers? Are they seeking? First of all, the fact that they're seeking this might and power somewhere else tells us that what? They don't have it. If you have it, you don't need to seek it from somewhere else. They're seeking this might and power from the kafirin because they do not have it. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us also a rule for all of us to understand, right? You and I are human beings. We are you and I creation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says what? Says, فَإِنَّ الْعِزَّةَ لِلَّهِ جَمِيعًا. All honor, izzah, All might, all power comes from this one source, and one source only is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when any of us are in a state of weakness, one should be looking for the source of all power, for the source of all might, and not try to seek it somewhere else. Even though in other verses Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that He can take a Rasul and the mu'mineen as awliya, in that sense. But it all goes back to what? To the main source, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one and only single source. So that's a lesson for munafiqeen, but a lesson for us as well. It says, if you're seeking this izzah, the true honor, the true might and power comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues, and He says, وَقَدْ نَزَّلَ عَلَيْكُمْ فِي الْكِتَابِ أَنْ إِذَا سَمِعْتُمْ آيَاتِ اللَّهِ يُكْفَرُ بِهَا وَيُسْتَهْزَأُ بِهَا فَلَا تَقْعُدُوا مَعَهُمْ حَتَّى يَخُوضُوا فِي حَدِيثٍ غَيْرِهِ. Still continuing on the theme of the hypocrites, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying what? It says, it has already been revealed to you in the book that when you hear the Allah's revelation, ayatullah, Allah's revelations, Allah's signs, being denied, يُكْفَرُ بِهَا, being denied and ridiculed, then do not sit in that company unless they engage in a different topic or they change the discussion, basically, or else you'll be like them. إِنَّ اللَّهَ جَامِعَ الْمُنَافِقِينَ وَالْكَافِرِينَ فِي جَهَنَّمَ جَمِيعًا. Surely Allah will gather the hypocrites and the disbelievers all together in hell. Now we're continuing on with the theme of the hypocrites. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says also another sign, another attribute of the hypocrites is what? Is they mock and make fun of religion, or the verses of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He said in this first verse, they said that they are seeking help, might, power, from protection from others, than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from the disbelievers. But not only they are seeking help and might and other from the disbelievers, but they are sitting down and engaging with them in mocking of the religion. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it a very strong. He said, if you want to be a true believer, you cannot engage in these things. If you sit with someone, وَقَدْ نَزَّلَ عَلَيْكُمْ فِي الْكِتَابِ مِنْ قَبْلِ أَنْ إِذَا سَمِعْتُمْ. He said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already revealed that to you before, that if you heard that the verses of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is being mocked, is being made fun of, or is being ridiculed, or is being denied, you should not be part of this conversation at all. You should not be part of this gathering at all. Because you putting yourself in this situation, right, is now you're engaging with them in this ridicule, even if you don't agree. But that's what the hypocrites would do, right? They're not strong enough to go outside and to declare their complete denial of deen, their complete disbelief, like the mushrikeen, like the kuffar, like others. They're not strong enough to go and do that. But they would sit with those who do that. That's a form of satisfaction for them. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us the warning as well. He says you cannot be part of this. وَقَدْ نَزَّلَ عَلَيْكُمْ فِي الْكِتَابِ أَنْ إِذَا سَمِعْتُمْ آيَاتِ اللَّهِ. It says when the verse says وَقَدْ نَزَّلَ عَلَيْكُمْ, that means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already revealed to you verses before that talk about this. And the Mufassireen, when they talk about this, they say that the verses that have been revealed before are from Surah Al-An'am, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَإِذَا رَأَيْتَ الَّذِينَ يَخُوضُونَ فِي آيَاتِنَا فَأَعْرِضْ عَنْهُمْ حَتَّى يَخُوضُوا فِي حَدِيثٍ غَيْرِهِ وَإِمَّا يُنْسِيَنَّكَ الشَّيْطَانُ فَلَا تَقْعُدْ بَعْدَ الذِّكْرَ مَعَ الْقَوْمِ الظَّالِمِينَ. That are the verses that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is referring to, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already revealed to you before, saying that, again, you avoid the mocking of the deen and sitting with people who are mocking the deen, are these verses from Surah An-Nisa. It says, and when you come across those who ridicule our revelations, do not sit with them unless they engage in a different topic. Should shaitan make you forget, then once you remember, do not continue to sit with the wrongdoing people. So these are the verses of قَدْ نَزَّلَ عَلَيْكُمْ. This is the verse of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as the Mufassireen. Some Mufassireen, by the way, are referring to other verses, but the majority of them are referring to this particular verses. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَلَا تَقْعُدُوا مَعَهُمْ حَتَّى يَخُوضُوا فِي حَدِيثٍ غَيْرِهِ. Then do not sit with them and engage with them until they change the subject. They change the topic. Okay. The Mufassireen also have a very nice point here. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not outright in this verse say you cannot sit with them at all, period. Allah says you can sit with them as long as the discussion is not about something that ridiculing the deen and making fun of the religion and so forth. Okay. So we, as Muslims, first of all, should never be engaging in something as such. And if we were to sit in a gathering as such, where people are making fun of a religion, unfortunately this happens not only from the mushrikeen, from the kuffar, sometimes it happens amongst the Muslims themselves. This is an unfortunate event, where people don't take the ayat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the ahkam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala seriously, and they start making fun of it. Okay? In that case, regardless of a Muslim or a non-Muslim, we should never be engaging in this. We should be one standing firm for our deen. This is izzah, part of the izzah as well. This is part of this honor, this might, the power that comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You take a stance for your deen, because there's nothing much more important in life than this, our religion of ours, our belief. So we cannot just sit down there accepting ridicule of it, right, and sitting and engaging in it or even listening to it. We should take a stance when it comes to this, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives a strong warning. It says, because if you do not do that, إِنَّكُمْ إِذًا مِثْلُهُمْ. If you do not do that, you don't take a stance, you don't leave, you are indeed like them. So someone can say, I did not say anything, I was just sitting there. You're indeed like them. But it wasn't me, that they were the ones talking. You're indeed like them. You should not be in this gathering at all, period. Because else, you are putting yourself in a situation where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you will be like them, even if you're not engaging in it actively, but just sitting there, listening, and not stopping this, is as if this is you're part of this engagement. إِنَّ اللَّهَ جَامِعَ الْمُنَافِقِينَ وَالْكَافِرِينَ فِي جَهَنَّمَ جَمِيعًا. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ends with a very strong warning. He says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will gather all of them. Because sometimes also, all of them in Jahannam, Jami'a. All of them, they're going to be gathered in Jahannam, all of them together. Because sometimes, when you see something as such, and I said, this is unfortunate, sometimes they make fun of religion, like on TV, on newspapers, in like different discussions. It's becoming ubiquitous around us in many different places. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving them warning, but is also giving us glad tidings. Right? When this happens, we as Muslims, people who believe, we should be feeling bad about this. Right? We said we should not be engaging in it, part of it, or anything as such. But even when you see it happen, and you might not sometimes be able to stop it directly, you would feel bad about it. That's the least that we can have. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving them the warning and give us, inshallah, the glad tidings. The warning, it says what? Don't worry about it. You're all going to be gathered in Jahannam. There's no way out for you. Continue on doing that, and this is your abode. This is your direction. This is where you're going to end up with. But for us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is also giving us glad tidings, telling us what? He said, I know it hurts you. I know it bothers you. As mu'mineen, as people of belief, that bothers you. Don't worry, because there's always a hereafter. That's not for us to be passive about it. We said we have to take an active action by at least leaving this gathering and not engaging in it. But know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would not let go of this unquestioned. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to take the due revenge, but punishment from them for this ridicule. So when you feel good about your deen, inshallah, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the protector of you, that the izzah, the honor comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will continue to protect and honor His religion. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes us among those who live as Muslimin, die as Muslimin, go to Jannah as Muslimin, inshallah, follow in the footsteps of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes us among those who are honored by the deen and honor the deen through our actions. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes us among those who hold steadfast for this deen, hold strong to their belief, and not be allowing any kind of ridicule of it. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes us among those who listen to the verses and follow the best of